This video contains flashing lights, unsettling content, violent content, jump scares, and spoilers. Viewer discretion advised.
Haunted buildings make for an excellent location to test your courage and face monsters from beyond the grave.
This makes for an excellent setting for survival horror as you try to save yourself from spectral horrors.
Driven to malevolent activity from lingering regrets and resentment of the living invading their home.
So steel your nerve and brace your courage as we explore the top 20 haunted buildings in survival horror games.
Fazbear's Fright, Five Nights at Freddy's 3. Being the third in the Five Nights at Freddy's game series created by Scott Cawthon, you are now a security guard at a horror attraction surrounded by dismantled parts of the animatronics. Unfortunately, also haunted by several phantoms and a wrathful, undying soul wanting to end you. Fazbear Fright came into existence 30 years after Freddy Fazbear Pizzeria closed down and the new owners decided to cash in on its reputation, turning it into a haunted attraction. Scrap parts of the former animatronics are salvaged from the old location, along with finding a fully suited animatronic they decided to call Springtrap. As the newly hired security guard, you stay in the office with a monitor showing you a total of 15 cameras, showing the hall and the inside of the vents. Within the first 5 nights, paranormal activities started to occur and will proceed to become more challenging within those 5 nights. As the security guard, you will see some familiar faces pop up in your camera feed. For example, Balloon Boy will show up in one of the cameras, looking tattered and worn, only to show up instantly in your office, devoid of any color, with white, lifeless eyes, lunging at you, then disappearing. The other past animatronics who are phantoms will also do the same, except for the marionette, blocking your view. As all these systems begin to fail at once, it gives Springtrap a chance to kill. So it's up to you to keep the systems operational and distract the malevolent animatronic. Should you survive the 5 nights, Fazbear Fright's final fate is revealed, having burned down either due to faulty wiring or perhaps foul play.
Shosei School, Calling. Calling holds one of the most disturbing levels in the Shosei School. It takes the familiar setting of a Japanese school and turns it into something eerie and nightmarish. The halls are empty, the lights flicker, and a heavy silence lingers, broken only by distant whispers, footsteps, or ghostly laughter. Strange things happen all around you. Objects move on their own. Shadowy figures appear at the edge of your vision, and sudden noises make your heart race. The deeper you go, the stronger the feeling that something is watching, waiting. What makes it even more disturbing is the tragic history tied to the school. The spirits that haunt it aren't just random ghosts. They were once students, trapped there by terrible events. A few years prior, 3 high school delinquents sneaked into the school's computer lab after hours, logged onto the black page, and died. The story was reported in local news, although the cause of death was officially listed as unknown. What's understandable is that the spirits here are simply lost, but others are angry, and they don't want you to leave. At times, a hostile spirit will suddenly appear, forcing you to escape before it's too late. With its eerie sounds, dark backstory, and constant sense of dread, Shosei High School is a place that lingers in your mind long after you've left it.
Boo Mansion, Luigi's Mansion. Luigi receives a letter stating he has won a mansion in a contest he never entered. leading him to a haunted mansion. King Boo created the illusion to lure him and Mario inside, wanting to trap them both in paintings for eternity. While Mario is the first to be captured, Luigi enters the premise scared out of his wits as he tries to search for Mario. The mansion itself is split between 3 floors, a roof, and a basement, for a total of 41 rooms, with many rooms containing escaped portrait ghosts. Interestingly, despite the mansion being created by the Boos appear to have been trapped in a storage room and become freed by Luigi. However, this could be just a resting place for the Boos, waiting on Luigi to appear, having just trapped Mario. Throughout the mansion, many ghosts haunt the place, endangering Luigi from the very moment he enters. A lot of paranormal activity happens here to keep you on edge. Ghosts are a constant threat by appearing and attacking in various ways. But there's more. The rooms can seal up, alter themselves, or even be distorted by reality or gravity. Time seems to be distorted in the mansion, because little time passes once Luigi finishes his quest. The only things that appear to be real here, other than the danger, is the money and treasure. When Luigi finally defeats the ghost and King Boo, the illusion unravels, and the Nightmare Mansion fades away. Egad then uses the money Luigi obtained on his adventure to construct a new mansion.
Mansion. The Haunted Mansion. A rather large mansion covered in cobwebs and populated by a vast array of ghostly entities, originally quite peaceful for ghosts until the evil Atticus Thorn came and trapped and corrupted 999 souls inside the mansion. Ezekiel Holloway is drawn to the mansion under the guise of being a caretaker, only to discover his true goal is to free the spirits and defeat Atticus. Though a scaredy cat by nature, Holloway must brave the many tricks, traps, ghosts, and even giant spiders that infest this once peaceful mansion. By using the lantern object called the Beacon of Souls, perhaps the spirits can be saved and Atticus's plan to take over the afterlife can be thwarted. But the mansion is large. The halls snake around with many rooms filled with dangerous entities. With moving statues, shifting staircases, poltergeists tossing objects around, and large 8-legged freaks crawling through the halls. Can a single scared caretaker with a magic lantern really solve this staggering problem, or simply become the 1,000th trapped soul forever residing in the mansion?
Nebbercracker's house. Monster House. Horace Nebbercracker is the quintessential crabby old man living down the street. He's always cooped up inside his drab and decrepit house doing God knows what, and only comes out to scold children for stepping on his lawn. Most would think Nebbercracker's outbursts come from a sense of pride and overprotectiveness in his house, but DJ and his friends know that they actually come from fear. The game opens with a botched attempt to destroy the house on Halloween night. After swallowing and killing 2 police officers, the house attempts to devour our 3 protagonists as well, who are locked in the back of a squad car. Before they are dropped into the abyssal maw that is the mouth of the house, they are able to escape through a broken window and land safely. This safety does not last long, however, as they are quickly separated by the possessed piping that runs through the walls of the house. Armed with little more than water guns, you must make your way through the house, reunite with your friends, and destroy the furnace that serves as the house's heart. The house will not let you go easily though, and will throw anything it has against you, including animated chairs, televisions, and gas tanks. Along your journey, you will also face a living mannequin who bears a striking resemblance to Nebbercracker's late wife. After traversing through the broken and tattered remains of an ancient circus buried in the house's basement, you will come across a cage containing the mummified corpse of Nebbercracker's wife Constance, who died on the house's very foundation. Knowing now that it's her restless spirit that haunts the house, the young heroes are even more emboldened to finish their mission and destroy it for good, though the house will not go easily. Even as they manage to escape, the house tears itself from the earth and gives chase, eager to take them in and give their souls a resting place for all eternity. Haunted House, Onryo. One of many horror game experiences from the mind of Chilla's art, Onryo places you in a haunted house tasked with removing its curse and exorcising the spirits within. Only upon exploring the dwelling do you realize how bad things are. A family of ghosts haunt the place, all related to a single vengeful female ghost known as an Onryo. Your only defense is a camera that can be used to fight off these deadly spirits just as they prepare to strike. Some rooms in the house are safe havens from the spirit's wrath, protected by an additional friendly ghost aiding you in your quest. As you discover notes left in the house, the true horror of the haunting is laid bare. An abusive mother took the lives of her twin children and her husband before ending her own life, leading to the curse and haunting. Unless you can find a way to exorcise the Onryo, you yourself will become possessed by the vengeful spirits and trapped in the house, forever locked in eternal torment.
Sunny Meadows, Phasmophobia. In this ghost investigation game created by Kinetic Games, the Sunny Meadows Mental Institution, or Sunny Meadows for short, is a large 2-story abandoned sanitarium. It holds a history of what was the unfortunate and disturbing norm of being a patient there. Seeing that this was once a Catholic religious institution, it looks as if it was immediately cleared out and permanently closed. However, besides seeing bodies in the morgue, there are other indications that show that the institution was far less than sunny. Players will witness blood-stained walls, upturned crosses, a pentagram in the chapel, rotting corpses, and a room filled with organic matter. The confines of Sunny Meadows' depths gives you the understanding of how many souls might be haunting this building. Depending on the ghost and its location, it could be anywhere in the vicinity. By using an EMF reader or thermometer, the device can indicate which room it would likely reside. Once you know the room, setting up the rest of your equipment is the next step. With a crucifix to defend against an attack, ghost book for the ghost to write in, video cameras to provide a live feed, dots to see the outline of the ghost, and spirit box to communicate with the ghost. Salt can also be used to see if the ghost steps in it, and UV is used to find footprint and fingerprint evidence around the environment. Sunny Meadows itself contains 69 rooms, which is split into 5 wings. One area is titled Restricted. It's appropriately named, as this was presumably where the most aggressive and unfortunate patients received their treatments, under the form of brutal torture, containing several desecrated cells. What makes this truly terrifying is that if the player lights the summoning circle in custom difficulty, with at least 6 cursed possessions in the game, every lit candle will turn a crucifix in the chapel room upside down. If the last candle is lit, the large cross in the chapel will ignite. With 666 degrees reading on the thermometer, the number of the beast.
Derceto Mansion, Alone in the Dark. Derceto Mansion, the same for the original Alone in the Dark, is a terrifying Lovecraftian nightmare. Located in 1920s Louisiana, this seemingly grand manor, whose very name is an alias for a dark god, is a death trap for Edward Carnby and Emily Hartwood. Attempting a quick escape is futile, as a giant being awaits just outside the front door to devour you. Inside, the mansion is crawling with ghosts, zombies, and even animated paintings, all eager to inflict a gruesome demise. Simply reading certain books can trigger instant death, and ammo is scarce, forcing players to rely on wits and evasion rather than combat. The mansion's dark history is tied to the murderous pirate Ezekiel Prechts, who centuries ago used the power of the Necronomicon to achieve immortality and sacrificed countless souls to dark entities. His spirit, residing within a tree deep beneath the mansion, drove Howard and Jeremy Hartwood to suicide, and Prechts threatens to possess anyone who dares enter to unleash his evil upon the world. The oppressive atmosphere, punctuated by unsettling silences and the chilling musical sting of approaching enemies, creates a constant sense of dread. Shadows drift through candlelit corridors, their outlines dissolving when approached, while soft whispers rise and fall like distant echoes of forgotten conversations. It is not a place of terror, but one of perpetual yearning, where spirits seem trapped in the quiet melancholy of what once was. Prechts' influence can only be broken by a specific ritual involving a talisman and a lit lantern, a solution hinted at through cryptic clues. Failure means a gruesome game over, with your character dragged to a sacrificial altar as the mansion succumbs to Lovecraftian horrors. Even success offers little comfort, as the mansion collapses around you as you escape. Derceto Mansion is a masterclass in survival horror, where death lurks around every corner, and even the smallest mistake can lead to a horrifying end.
Yeondu High School, White Day, a Labyrinth named school. A rather sizable Korean high school constructed on the grounds of an old hospital active during the Korean War in July 1953. Yeondu High School is the setting for the entire game, consisting of a plethora of ghostly entities, overly aggressive janitors, and many disturbing rumors of disappearances. While exploring the school at night to try and return a diary to one of the girls, you were trapped in the school along with a few other unfortunate individuals. Now, you're all at risk of the many horrors, living and dead, that haunt every nook and cranny. Five talismans were used to cleanse the malevolent feng shui that permeated the area after all the disturbing events from when the hospital was still standing. All this ended up doing was trapping the spirits in the school, corrupting them and turning them quite evil. This includes those lost in the former hospital and any staff or students that have unfortunately lost their lives there. Many of the hauntings are capable of attacking any hapless wanderer to add them to the ranks of the dead wandering the school, forever trapped in its halls. Perhaps if the talismans are removed, then the spirits can finally find peace and the school can become safe once more. But this has been kept a secret ever since they were placed, so... Is anyone really capable of cleansing the school before they lose their soul forever in its labyrinth halls? I don't think so.
UAC Facility, Doom 3. The UAC Facility didn't just go to hell, it opened a portal to hell, organised by the villain Malcolm B. Truger. The place is haunted by a host of horrors, ranging from ghosts and spirits of hell to the personnel who were unable to cross over to the afterlife. Throughout the facility, you'll find satanic pentagrams, along with candles and strange growths. Due to the portal rift, 75% of the personnel were turned into mindless zombies or ZSEC who retain a sliver of intelligence. Those that weren't turned were killed by demons or transformed into abominations by Malcolm himself. At random moments, you can hear ghostly whispers and see subliminal messages on screens, adding to the ever-growing tension and horror. You'll also see furniture and bodies move, hear scraping and banging, lights turning off, doors closing. The ambient soundtrack in the game makes clever use of voices mixed with metal and machine, combining some dark, foreboding setting. The Marine will witness several horrific things throughout the game. Even as a mute, the cutscenes show the character showing expressions of disgust and hatred. What little survivors remain of this facility take up refuge and are deeply terrified of the events that took place. This truly is the worst place to be left alone in an isolated alien hellscape.
Spooky's Mansion. Spooky's Jumpscare Mansion. For as long as anyone can remember, this derelict mansion has laid dormant on a hill, casting its sinister shadow over the unnamed town below. Being the avid history enthusiast you are, you journey there to find out anything you can about the mysterious dwelling. Upon entering, you are greeted by Spooky, a cute, unassuming ghost who tasks you with traversing through the mansion's 1,000 rooms and finding out what lies at the end, if there even is one. This seemingly insurmountable task starts off easily enough, with each room simply emptying into the next, though halls quickly grow longer, and rooms grow ever larger. Not long into your journey, you will find your first jump scare. While the cute cardboard cutouts of chibi ghosts and ghouls may give you a small spook in the moment, they are merely a facade, and only a small taste of the true horrors that lie further beyond. The mansion comprises all manner of rooms, from simple wood and stone hallways to manufactured woodland groves to the futuristic deck of a space station. Like Spooky herself, nothing in this place is as it seems. Floors twist and turn endlessly, doors loop into the same room repeatedly, the walls themselves shift and flow before your very eyes. Even the presence of a graceful deer grazing in the calm, wild grass should be met with caution, for that deer is nobody's prey. Deep in the bowels of this forsaken compound, failed experiments and mutated creatures wander the halls looking for a new piece of flesh to terrify and rip into. Armed with nothing but an axe, you have no choice but to confront your fear and delve deeper into the abyss that is Spooky's Mansion. Can you discover the truth behind this mysterious mansion? Or will your soul wander in endless torment, for all eternity.
South Ashfield Heights, Silent Hill 4, The Room. On the surface, South Ashfield Heights is an apartment complex like any other. Each of its residents has their own lives and charms, as well as their own secrets and desires. Despite that, they're just normal people living normal lives. Though hidden deep within that normalcy lies a sliver of strange darkness that grows in power with each passing day. That darkness emanates from room 302. Years prior to the events of the game, a couple living in room 302 gave birth to a baby boy which they abandoned on the living room floor. After being sent to an orphanage, that boy grew up to be Walter Sullivan, a psychotic tool of the Order, who used him to perform dozens of sacrificial murders, including that of the room's previous owner, Joseph. Sometime later, the room became inhabited by a game's protagonist, Henry Townsend. One day, Henry awakens to find the door of his apartment locked from the inside, held shut by a web of filthy chains. The only way to leave his room is through a mysterious hole that has been smashed in the bathroom, which stretches wider like a hungry maw as the game progresses. This hole is no mere exit, as it leads to various other worlds created by the malevolent presence that haunts the building. While the suffocating isolation of your locked room seems like enough to drive you mad, the demonic creatures that await in the other world will make you wish you had never even left. The apartment isn't all bad though, as it houses the only save point in the game, as well as a handy chest to store all of the treasures and trinkets you find throughout the other worlds. Be wary though, for even this sanctuary is not safe from evil that leeches from those hellish dimensions. Blood will seep from pulsating, fleshy cracks on the walls. A pile of viscera will appear in your fridge. Windows will rattle. Electronics will malfunction.
I'm always watching you. I'm always watching you.
And ghosts will peer at you from all angles, never offering a moment of respite. Using a candle will remove these hauntings and cleanse the area, which determines the outcome for the game's ending. Eventually, you may stumble upon a secret chamber between the bathroom and the bedroom, where the decomposing body of Walter Sullivan hangs on a cross. Inside his jacket are the keys to the many locks chaining the apartment doors shut. With the means of your escape in hand, you unfasten the locks and step through the door of apartment 302. Only to realize that you have just simply walked into another world of blood and damnation. The rest of South Ashfield Heights, just as haunted and just as deadly. St. Joseph's Secondary School, Condemned, Criminal Origins. St. Joseph's Secondary School and Condemned Criminal Origins is a chilling enigma. Located at Northeast 52nd and Fremont in Metro City, the source of its haunting remains officially unstated. But several disturbing possibilities linger. Could the brutal acts of Carl Anderson, the torturer, have tainted the building? Or does the school harbor a more ancient, unspoken evil, hinted at by its 5-year abandonment and Rosa's cryptic comment about the police letting it go to hell?
Christ, the cops have just been letting it go to hell for years.
Perhaps the lunch lady committed horrific acts against the students within its walls.
waiting for you!
Regardless of the origin, the school exudes an oppressive atmosphere of dread. It stores an overwhelming number of deformed, psychotic humans who are wrapped up in chains, along with armed trespassers and addicts. Unexplained lights flicker. Furniture shifts on its own. And shadowy figures dance across the walls. Doors slam shut. Lockers rattle. And the very layout of the school seems to warp and shift, trapping Ethan Thomas in an unsettling alternate reality. Remarkably, Ethan remains stoic in the face of these paranormal events. His only reaction a visceral moment of confusion and disgust near the level's end, where he hallucinates a shower hallway as the school's entrance. Even in the sequel, when a portion of the school reappears as a brutal fighting pit, the lingering sense of unease remains. Ethan witnesses another strange apparition, leaving the player to question whether it's a genuine haunting or a symptom of Ethan's own fractured psyche. Stepping into St. Joseph's is an exercise in dread, a descent into a dark and unsettling place that no one in their right mind would willingly enter.
Brennenburg Castle, Amnesia, The Dark Descent. In this survival horror adventure game developed and published by Frictional Games, you play as Daniel, who suffers from amnesia, waking up inside the dark and foreboding structure of Brennenburg Castle. Located deep in the woods of eastern Prussia, this imposing structure was presumed to be built in the medieval period and was reconstructed by Alexander of Brennenburg in the late 16th century after it was burned down in a fire. With Daniel's arrival in the castle a few centuries later, the castle has fallen into a state of decay and ruin with no person living inside of it, or as it would seem. Daniel traverses through the castle, avoiding and hiding from either the grunt or the brute. That will decrease the archaeologist's sanity by looking at them. He'll come across an entity that has been chasing Daniel long before his arrival at the castle. The Shadow. The Shadow is a massive, invisible being that leaves behind a fleshy, blood-red organic residue that harms Daniel if he touches it and will impede his path. Even though Daniel can use a form of acid to impede the Shadow, the entity will never stop chasing him throughout the crumbling castle, even causing a flood in the cistern for the Cairn to kill him. Its intention is to retrieve the orb that it's a guardian of, so it has pursued Daniel since he took it back at an archaeological dig in Africa. However, if the Shadow sees another person misuse the orb's power like 250-year-old Baron Alexander of Brennenburg, the Shadow will spare Daniel and devour Alexander instead, making Daniel free to leave Brennenburg Castle with no mind-plaguing guilt following him anymore.
The Mansion, Sweet Home. The mansion from Sweet Home was originally home for Ichiro Mamiya, his wife, and their infant son. One day, the baby went into the furnace to play, and his mother, not knowing this, set him ablaze. This broke Lady Mamiya, and she began to kidnap and burn other children, thinking her child wouldn't be alone in the afterlife. Rather than face justice, she cast herself into the furnace when confronted by the villagers whose children she killed. Ichiro's hopes that this was all over were short-lived when one day, someone kicked over the memorial tower built for his son. Lady Mamiya's spirit became enraged, proceeding to kill anyone who dared enter the mansion. The game takes place years later, when a film crew seeks to restore Ichiro's artwork and film a documentary on the artist. You will come to realize the place is a death trap, with sections of the floor being collapsed, rooms that burst into flames if you walk in, random objects flying at you, and spiked pits at the end of strong currents or paths of ice. There are even sand traps that suck you into the center if you do not grab a rope one of your allies has for you. Once you step in a room, there is no turning back, because the very first tile beyond the door will trigger the traps and you'll have to try to get your friends out. If you can get them out, that is. The Lady's Furious Ghost isn't the only one haunting the mansion either. You will be confronted by a plethora of zombies who were prior intruders, will-o'-the-wisps, guard dogs, possessed dolls, suits of armor, and bloodthirsty worms. Considering the high difficulty curve in the game, you really do not want to lose any of your crew. Healing tonics are in short supply, and Akiko's medkit can only heal ailments, so quick thinking and careful decision making are required to survive the night. You can confront Lady Mamiya as a final boss, which involves fighting using the literal power of prayer, 4 key items in a specific way, if you were able to find them, and using the taunts she directs at you to turn the tables on her. Once beaten, you and whoever remains of your group can leave, and Lady Mamiya can finally move on.
Robert's apartment, Dream Cage. As we explore Robert's apartment, we discover that things are not quite as they seem. Because Robert has difficulty telling the difference between fantasy and reality, strange anomalies emerge in the apartment. Things such as audio disturbances, warped objects, and blood oozing from the showers are just a few odd occurrences to be found. Only by using the camera can we see and undo these strange things before Robert can comfortably go to bed and rest. However, anomalies are not the only oddity to deal with. Invisible entities stalk you through your home. Only revealed by the camera, but deadly regardless of being visible or not. To make matters worse, your camera is a real power eater, so it needs constant fresh batteries to keep working. Should you manage to fix the anomalies and get to bed safely, you may not be as safe as you think. Sleep paralysis grips you as a horrifying entity will wander around you, ready to strike if you make a single sound. If you can hold your nerve, you may just make it through the night, but what of tomorrow? The nightmare continues for 5 days, probing deeper and deeper into the broken mind of Robert. As you may discover something you wish you could never forget.
Barrows Mansion, Clock Tower. Built sometime in the 20th century, Clock Tower's Barrows Mansion isn't your run-of-the-mill haunted house. This seemingly ordinary Norwegian manor, crowned by its imposing clock tower, conceals a legacy of demonic pacts and a family blighted by ancestral sin. Warped by black magic, The mansion exists in a timeless pocket dimension, its interior twisting and reshaping with every playthrough. For Jennifer Simpson and her friends, what begins as an adoption quickly spirals into a terrifying ordeal. The Barrows family harbors grotesque secrets. The scissor-wielding Scissor Man prowls the corridors, a relentless specter of sharp steel and chilling laughter, capable of being deterred only temporarily. His brother Dan, a grotesque, immobile figure, exerts psychic control, teleporting Bobby to torment Jennifer. The quiet mansion is deceptive, broken only by the echo of footsteps, the sinister snip of shears, and the unsettling whispers that betray hidden dangers. From killer parrots and unsettling mannequins, to a child's room echoing with ghostly footsteps and the presence of a murderous doll. The mansion is a gallery of horrors. Paintings bleed. Faucets pour blood and maggots. Dolls come to life. Mannequins move by themselves. And record players and phones can make noises without being plugged in. Even their seemingly normal adoptive father hides a gruesome secret, locked away and consumed by desperation. The mansion's warped reality manifests in disturbing imagery and unsettling encounters, the residue of dark magic. Survival hinges on puzzle solving, evading the Scissor Man's relentless pursuit, and unraveling the tragic history of the Barrows family. Only by restarting the clock tower can Bobby be stopped, and the grief-stricken Mary, driven to madness by the death of her sons, meets a gruesome end through a macabre combination of crows and a well-timed push. The true horror of Barrows Mansion isn't simply the monstrous Barrows brothers, but the insidious, pervasive feeling of wrongness that clings to every room. A chilling reminder that appearances can be profoundly deceiving, and that even the most mundane facades can mask unimaginable darkness. Mattel's House, Paranormal. Built originally in 1910 on 43 Granite Drive, San Francisco, it's the current homeowner of Mattel Clark, an artist who sleeps during the day and works at night. However, his home has become the focal point of a string of hauntings and paranormal activity.
Don't mind the posing mannequins. I picked those up at Amazon. They help me visualize the 3D space when I'm working on my sculptures. There's some works in progress over there on the mat. Hopefully something will happen here in a second. Really trying to show that this is real and that I'm not trying to get famous on the internet.
In an attempt to prove this is true, Mattel sets up cameras around his home and documents his experiences. Only by investigation and discovery of notes left by the previous owner do we find out the depths of the horrors that went on here. Many people have died in this very house in a number of grotesque and disturbing ways, likely becoming spirits themselves haunting it. Paranormal events can occur, such as furniture moving, objects levitating, mannequins moving on their own, screams, sounds of footsteps, and even bangs in more extreme cases. As the nights progress, the hauntings get increasingly more aggressive and extreme. Several paintings and murals around the house change their appearance. Blood pours from the toilet, and ghostly apparitions start manifesting at certain points. Mattel will need to keep an eye on the camera battery. When it's low, they'll need to head back to bed so the camera can charge. Then the game will progress to the next night, where more events will occur. Each playthrough of Paranormal is unique, as the events are generated randomly each time, so the experience can remain interesting and keeps the player on edge. A truly terrifying experience to live through, especially when you realize just how many people have died here previously.
Himuro Mansion – Fatal Frame. In this Japanese survival horror game, developed and originally published by Tecmo Limited, you initially play as novice folklorist Mafuyu Hinasaki, who decides to investigate the infamously haunted Himuro Mansion. Mafuyu's sister, Miku Hinasaki, follows soon after to discover what happened to her brother. Located in the southern region of the Himuro Mountain, the mansion is centuries old, dating further than the Edo period, and was owned by the powerful Himuro family in 1837. The mansion was also the site of a temple that was built over a hell gate, with 5 temples constructed, surrounding the gate. In order to keep the hell gate closed, a ritual called the Strangling Ritual is performed in early December every 10 years. A maiden is chosen and is made to cut ties from people, staying in confinement for little over 10 years to keep her pure for the ritual. The ritual is performed with the maiden being sacrificed, but the last ritual was not performed properly, causing the gates to stay open and for the malice to spread throughout the property, cursing and killing those nearby. Survivors would end up ending their lives rather than live through this curse. In the 1900s, Ryozo Munakata purchased the mansion some decades after the massacre and moved in with his wife Yae and daughter. He was a folklorist interested in the rituals and stories surrounding the place. As the house gained strength, spirits plagued the family until Yae killed herself after the disappearance of their daughter. Munakata was driven insane, believing his daughter was behind the entrance to the Hellmouth, but had died before he could locate her. The curse continued until 1986, when Mafuyu investigated the mansion. Defending himself with the camera obscura from the lost souls inside the manor, a powerful ghost captures him, causing Miku to investigate his disappearance 2 weeks later. Miku finds the camera inside the mansion and uses it to ward off ghosts. As she uncovers the history of the mansion, she finds many spirits and demons. Few of them are passive, but there are vengeful ones who have been corrupted by the dark energy malice from the Hellgate. They wander endlessly and try to spread their pain and suffering to others, some of them more disfigured and gruesome than the last. Notable examples include Long Arms, Girl in the Well, and the boy hiding in the grandfather clock. But nothing compares to the blind demon, a sacrificial maiden who had the blinding mask put upon her. Said mask has spikes in the eyes that were forced through hers, and now she roams the mansion, screaming in agony. Or there is the terrifying ghost of Lord Himuro himself, a sadistic samurai donning the Hanya mask who was driven insane by the calamity and proceeded to slaughter and behead everyone in the manor, house guests and staff alike, before finally committing suicide out of guilt. Deep into the mansion, Miku encounters the ghost of the last rope shrine maiden, Kirie Himuro, who curses Miku with rope marks that slowly appear on her wrists, ankles, and neck. In order to stop the curse from making her the next victim, she uses the camera obscura to free Kirie from the malice that had split her soul in two. Only by completing the ritual can the Hellgate be closed, and the spirits haunting the mansion finally find peace. But is the cost too high a price to pay? Heavenly Host Elementary School Corpse Party. For the town of Tenjing, Heavenly Host Elementary School was a boon unlike any other. New job opportunities arose, commuting time decreased, children were learning and happy to do it. All was well, until it wasn't. In 1952, after little more than a year, one of the nurses of Heavenly Host Elementary was found dead on the premises, and her 7-year-old daughter had gone missing. For many years, the shadow of those events hung over the town, until 3 more children were found murdered in the school's basement. Though the school was torn down on November 18, 1975, the malevolent energy that had seeped into its foundation kept it alive in a spiritual plane, ruled by an entity known as the Girl in the Red Dress. Should you become trapped in this realm of the damned, your only way out is to appease the restless spirits of those stuck within its hollowed halls. As you traverse the shattered and barren floors of this once prestigious school, you may find others who share your cursed fate and wish to help in your efforts. Though be warned, for the power of the Girl in the Red Dress can change anything or anyone to fit her will. What was once a close and cherished friend could suddenly become the form of your complete destruction. No longer do the light voices of children and teachers ring out around every corner. Now only the moans and wails of tortured souls remain. If you're lucky enough, you may even find the broken and mutilated bodies they have left behind. Don't let fear and repulsion grip you too long though, because whatever ended their lives might end yours as well. Should you run into any malevolent spirits or those who wish you harm, you have no choice but to run, or risk adding to the ever-growing pile beneath Heavenly Host Elementary School.
Thank you for watching. And on this page, thanks to our members. If you are interested in supporting us, we have 3 tiers: bronze, silver, and gold. Each one comes with perks. We'll do our best to keep you up to date on what's going on. And special thanks to our patrons. Again, if you are interested in supporting us, the link to our Patreon is in the bottom left-hand corner, down here. We also have a Discord link here, and a Ko-fi page. But that's enough from me. Let's see the creators of the video. Visit their social media links, if they provided you some entertainment. I'm XJ. Until next time.